3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Ash on Comics. I'm Ash, and these are my good friends Stan and Forky. If you've been a viewer of the channel in the past, you know who these guys are. But I haven't done an Ash Wednesdays video in quite a while, it feels like. In fact, I don't think I've done one since March. And this is a signifier of hopefully videos coming back because comic books are back. I went and got new comics. It's New Comic Book Day, and this is the all-new, all-political Ash Wednesdays videos. Now, I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek because it's going to be about comics. The primary anchor of these videos is a podcast-style presentation to basically celebrate New Comic Book Day every week, which is still going to be Wednesday despite DC's shenanigans, and going to celebrate buying new comics. Hopefully celebrate. That's where my passion lies. But one can't ignore the 800-pound gorilla in the room, or however that saying goes. And I didn't do a New Comic Book Day on the last day of comics before the shutdown because it was so depressing, and I was so emotional about it, and I was just upset. And I just didn't even have in my heart to get on a video that would have just been probably nothing but just vitriol and outrage. And maybe there's some of you who would be like, yeah, Ash, you should have done that. We want to listen to that. And it just wasn't in my heart. I was really depressed about it and so forth. Anyways, so fast forward to today. It's been, 3 months now? Approximately 2.5 months, I think. 2.5 months, we'll say, since the whole lockdown, all the hysterics. And in 2.5 months, let's think about what's been going on. We've shut down the entire country. And we've put millions of people, tens of millions of people, a near approximately 50 million people, which, when you consider that the workforce in America is around 100-ish million people, that's about half of the people in the United States put out of work. I'm one of those people included. I'm not completely unemployed, but I'm very much underemployed. And that's not necessarily your concern. And this isn't really a pity story about me, but you may be one of these people too. You're all feeling it. Well, some of you aren't feeling it, and I genuinely hope you're not. I don't want anyone to feel pain and suffering and anxiety and fear and any of these other emotions that may be going on right now. And 2.5 months later, I'm bringing up topics that you're sick of, I'm sure. And this is a hell of a way to launch your show again. Look, I'm sorry. I want to say I can't be silent anymore, but I know I get the response of, when have you been silent? I genuinely try to curb my discussions and try to make my stuff as not political as possible. I don't want to be one of those YouTube channels. I don't want to just completely censor myself and just be like, I'm not going to mention anything ever because I don't want to upset someone. I don't think that's the point of doing a homegrown channel like this. Certainly, if you're a big corporate media entity, you got to worry about those things. But this is primarily for me. I don't make any money off this. This is a hobby. If you're a listener, if you are a viewer, you're watching this just because you're a person like me. I was going to say schmo, but I don't know if that's really right. You're a person like me. You like comics. Maybe you care about some of the political situations going on in the world. I don't know. But I think you probably care about people. And if you're like me, in the sense that I watch channels kind of like my own because I'm interested in people. I'm interested in perspectives and points of view and what they have to say. Not because I need them to sway my opinion or I need I need someone else to think for me. I genuinely care how other people think. I care how other people see things. And it helps me to kind of better understand things. Why do people like something that I don't like? Why do people dislike something that I do like? I find that fascinating. But I also share the same kind of interest in that reaffirmation that it feels good to have someone else get it. Like, man, I love Hawkman. And then someone else is like, man, Hawkman's the best comic out there. And you're just like, yeah, and you get it. And I'm just using that as an example. But when two like minds come together and you both appreciate something kind of for the same or similar reasons, there's a sense of feel good, like that it's just like, awesome, you get it too. And those create bonds, right? That's why people congregate in groups of like interests, right? That's why video gamers tend to have video game friends. And if you're a sports fan, you probably hang around people who also like sports. And there's a familiarity and a sense of commonality, common interest between you, and you all get that. Not everyone likes to hear differing things, though, right? Like, if you hate sports, probably hanging around a sports guy who always talks about sports, you're probably just like, right? But I kind of get that. But I like comics very much. But I dislike many things in comics, and I like hearing opposing points of view. It's not always because it's fun to hear, but I find it interesting, especially when they're from a genuine place. When someone is expressing a point of view from a sense of intellectual honesty, right? That is, to me, is great. And sometimes my opinions are swayed. Sometimes I look at something from a whole new angle and go, yeah, I'm developing an appreciation for this that I didn't have before. Anyways, the all new all political is just me kind of maybe shedding the shackles of, I'm just tired of, I hold back so much because I don't want people to be like, F you, Ash, I don't watch these, I want to just hear about comics, and if I wanted politics, I'd go somewhere else. Well, it's not like I'm a gigantic YouTube channel anyway, right? If any chances are anyone that's watching my channel, it's because you like my personality somewhat, you like hearing things I have to say, or maybe you just hate watch me. I don't know. But I have a few people that watch. And I think the best thing about me is just my honesty. Not blowing smoke up your ass, not trying to appease the mob, not trying to say things, I hope people will like me and I can get clicks and if I can say the right thing. That's never been me. I don't want to do that. And I don't think I'd feel good having a channel like that. Now, if you are upset, and there's many things in this world to be upset about right now, that I might say things that are political and I might get heated about it, I understand. No hard feelings, man. Like, I'm so thankful that anyone devotes any time at all to listen to what I have to say. I mean, this is kind of, like I said, it's a hobby. It's a bit therapeutic. Really, dog? You gotta take all this time to walking around? Just gotta make your presence known. But what as I was saying, it's a hobby. It's a bit therapeutic for me, and I like meeting and talking to new people that share like-mindedness or have something interesting and maybe different to say. I hear opposing views. I'm not going to listen to someone that shouts at me or cusses me out because they disagree with me. That's not an opposing view. That's just vitriol and animosity. Like, I don't know. Who's got time for that? So, fast forward, or go back to what I was talking about. In the 2.5 months since I stopped making these videos because I was too depressed at what was happening, back then my mindset was like, oh crap, we're in a lockdown. This sucks. Comics is going to crash because comics is already an unstable industry as it was. And it sucks. Like, I didn't have any clue about where we would be in 2.5 months later. I didn't have any clue. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I've been pretty passionate about some of my political posts. And, I mean, I have a clue where this country is going in a general sense. But as far as, like, just comics and culture and stuff, I had no clue that in 2.5 months the pandemic would spread into complete absolute tyranny across the nation. And then on top of that, there would be massive riots on a scale that I have never seen, no one in this country has ever seen, literally putting the country in flames because of the death of a black man. Now, I don't make light of the death of anyone, much less George Floyd. So if you're listening, I believe in truth and I believe in justice. And I believe in those things for George Floyd. Absolutely. Do I believe that the country should go into massive riots and looting and people should be dying and people should be robbing stores and setting cities aflame? Absolutely not. That is hysterics. It's criminal, and it's going to send our country. I feel like we're gonna become like a third world country. I really feel like it's sending our society and our country. It's really dark. I don't see any good of this. I keep hearing talks now, things like disbanding the police. Like not hey, we're gonna cut funding to the police. It's overgrown. Not let's do some police reform. Those are things that are absolutely rational discussion. But no, let's just banish, like just completely cut police. It's absurd. And it started in Minneapolis, where this all started, which already is one of the most crime-ridden areas in the country. So you're talking, you want to ban, like get rid of the police? You want to turn it into Escape from New York? Like the people, the wackadoos that are gaining power, you should be scared. I don't want to scare anyone, but right now Seattle has, I guess it's like a 7-block area that the city has just given up, just said here, and the radicals have taken it over. And they're now armed, and they're now apparently controlling who gets in and who gets out. And the city has just conceded control to an armed group. Now, bear this in mind. If you're at all anywhere close to my age, if you're not, a 20-something person, you remember Waco and how we stormed this private compound that was privately owned. On private land. We stormed this because we had to exert power and violate people's rights and so forth. Now, that's a touchy subject. I know people can come back and make some arguments about Waco, and I know it's a nuanced subject. My point was we had to enforce the law on Waco, and it's terrible. What's going on right now in Seattle is worse. Like, they're just literally taking over public city sectors. It's not land that they own. They don't own this. And the government has just conceded it. In Texas, is it the live free or no? That's not the live free or die state, is it? I get the mottos mixed up. But Texas, is historically remember the Alamo, like we're Texans, and in Dallas they are dropping all charges to all rioters. Anyone, if you rioted, you burned stores, apparently you looted, nope, you got arrested, but all right, free to go. This country is in dire straits. And if you're not aware of this already, then you need to become aware. You need to start pulling your head out of your sand and make sure you're looking at all angles. Don't just get your information from one source. Certainly not just from me. I mean, I'm an opinionated asshole, but I just never thought that we would be sitting here locked down in a pandemic, all of our civil rights taken away. And then on top of that, now we have to fear massive rioting from a completely ethno-fascist group. And it's like the coming of the Fourth Reich. It's really bad. And so I can't just in good conscience sit here and do comic book talk and ignore it and just be like, hey, look, here's the comics. Now I will. I'm going to try to focus on what my passion about comics. I'm going to try to rekindle that flame. And I'm going to, bitch and moan and maybe try to mock the stupidity in comics. Certainly the culture war is going to spread over and affect this great hobby. And you're going to decide whether or not I'm even worth paying attention to or listening to or devoting any of your time whatsoever. I don't know. Hopefully I am. I'm not doing anything to try to piss anyone off. I'm just being a person in this world who has thoughts and ideas and wants to express them. And I'm open to hearing other thoughts and ideas, even if they're counter to mine. I believe wholeheartedly in being intellectually honest, and I will listen to anyone else who wants to be intellectually honest in return. But right now, that's what this is all about. The all new all political doesn't really mean it's going to be all political. It's going to be comics. But I wanted you to know where my mindset is and what's going on. I went to the comic book store, got a big old thing of comics. You could see I had to get a bag because it wouldn't fit in my box. So the boards, so you can see how many comics I got. Look how many bags. Those are 15, by the way. And then there's my, anyways, I got a burger in here. Went to In-N-Out. I would like to say the first time in 2.5 months, but it hasn't really been. I went like last week. But true to the traditions of my channel, look at this. Stan and Forky, they get to sit back and watch. Look at this. Look at this picture perfect burger. I went today after the store. I think I went around 3:30 in the afternoon. And there was a line. They have like this parking lot that they're in is all cordoned off because it's like blocking other stores and stuff. I think there was like 20 cars in the drive-thru, but it's worth it. I didn't ask for ketchup and extra spread on the side. That's what that little packet is. This is delicious. This is the nectar of the gods right here. In-N-Out spread. You can get it on the side. You didn't used to be able to. So I'll put that in the fridge and use it on something. I'm going to devour this. For those of you who haven't seen the food porn on Ash Wednesdays, there it is. I'll be back, and we'll talk some comics. One of the really cool benefits, if you can call it that, I guess, of the coronavirus and being locked down and everything, was lots of great comic book deals. Lots of really, a lot of free comics, to be honest. I've been posting these on Twitter, and it's been a little sporadic. It's not like every day there's just hundreds of free comics, but I did get over 100 free comics from Valiant. Marvel Comics gave away a couple of dozen graphic novels, maybe 20. But that's a lot, when you're talking about free comics. I posted these in my Discord. I posted them on Twitter. Here's one of the Avengers, one of the first free graphic novels that Marvel gave away. I grab everything I can. Now, it's digital. It's on Comixology. You're not getting these physical books. But still, free is free. And one of the great things about free digital is you don't have to worry about accumulating excess crap, right? So if I wouldn't take a lot of these books for free if they were physical because I just have only so much room. But if it's digital, I grab everything. DC gave away some free books, but mostly just a bunch of number ones, not really graphic novels or anything. However, you can argue that all the books that they did give away, such as Superman, All-Star Superman #1 here, you can see were quality. They didn't mess around. You got Dark Knight Returns #1, and so forth. So here you can see, Batman Year One, Part 1, my favorite comic ever. Here you can see some of the graphic novels I got. Not all of them are good. Dark Phoenix Saga, great. Civil War, depending on your point of view, and then Captain Marvel shit, Ta-Nehisi Coates shit, AVX, but there's some good stuff in there. Then you can see DC also was releasing their digital first books that came out physical first, then their digital. I don't know how DC does the mental gymnastics to make this work. But I was buying these. These were 99 cents a piece or like 80 something cents if you've got Comixology Unlimited because you get a 15% discount. And these are books that I would buy them physical. They're good. I've been reading them. Batman: The Adventures Continue, which is a spiritual successor to the Batman animated series, takes place in the same world and everything. And then also Superman: Man of Tomorrow, which is the Robert Venditti Superman stories that are backup stories inside the Superman Giants. Now, this brings me as a chance to talk about something else that I've been doing on my channel. Since I haven't really been doing new comics, there hasn't been new comics, I started doing these live streams called Storytime Live. And if you've been following the channel at all, maybe you got a chance to see them or participate. The concept of it is just to get fellow comic fans all in a hangout regularly. It's currently Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Pacific. And we shoot the shit about comics, whatever's on our mind. And then I read two comics. One comic I call the opening act, and then the other one is the headliner. Now, the headliner is always sort of an arc, a story arc, a miniseries or a story arc. So you're probably getting between 4 and 6 issues, one issue per episode. The opening act is usually something that is just, I don't know, something random, off the cuff, whatever. It can be whatever. I also try to do the main comic is something that I haven't read before. So I try to, because that way I can also get a reaction of the book. Some of the books I've been doing are these Batman Adventures Continue and Superman: Man of Tomorrow. You can pick these up for, like I said, less than $1. It's worth it. Here's some more of the Marvel trades that I picked up. Fantastic Four, John Byrne, look at that, free. Planet Hulk, free. Then you got Ta-Nehisi Coates, Captain America, Black Panther. You can't win them all, but it's free. You can't lose. Vagrant Queen was one of the books. This was free. Vault gave away issue number 1 for free, so I was like, whatever, I'll pick it up. I read it on the channel. It was good times. Fantastic Four 605.1 was gifted to me by my good friend Skip Atosh. And then Man and Superman. This is what I'm currently doing as the main event. I've done 3 chapters so far. Tomorrow night, Thursday, I'll be doing the final chapter of Man and Superman. This was a big $10 book, 100-page, and it's less than $1. It's on sale. Check it out. See, if I don't know if it's still on sale, but it might be. Grab it. It's so worth it. Art is fantastic. Writing is spectacular. So this is what I picked up digitally. Hopefully you can come in and check out the Storytime Live. We have some fun. We talk about whatever, just kind of like what I do on the Ash Wednesdays. Talk about whatever's on my mind, and talk about whatever's in the chat topics mind, and then we read some books and then go to bed. So that's that. Let's get to the physical books. That's what you're waiting for, I think. And now we come to my favorite portion of the show. Sorry that it took so long to get here. I rattle on about all sorts of nonsense. I forgot to show my receipt for In-N-Out. You always got to show your receipt, kids. My order taker was order taker number 1. Cashier was Ariana. I paid $4.58 for my burger. There it is, double. So delicious. And then today was my biggest comic book receipt of the year. Of course, it was multiple weeks. There it is, just shy of $60. Ugh. Ow. That hurts. Remember, when you're buying comics, this is a conflict that gets on so many times with people online about comics, and like, who cares if you don't like it? Don't buy it. Or like, why do you care so much? It's like, I care because I'm actually spending real money on comics. I really do feel most people that I talk to online about comics, not all, many of the people I talk to, but I feel lots of people. I feel piracy is utterly rampant, and I feel most of the people that defend the current industry, with the exclusion of maybe Comics Quirks, with our boy Jimmy, whatever he's calling himself these days. He's one of the few people that defends the modern industry and actually goes out and spends a bunch of money on it. So bravo to you, buddy. You have integrity. But I feel like most of the people that I talk to that defend the current state of comics are people that don't spend any money on comics. So it's really different. What I'm trying to say is it's really different when you're actually putting money down and you're basically getting ripped off. I wouldn't bitch about comics if I just read it for free all the time. Like, come on. Anyways, I'm not here to talk. We're here to talk about new comics. It's been a while, and this is multiple weeks of comics. Let's see. I haven't bought comics at all since March. The last week of March was my last new comic book day. And I didn't do a comic book video on those. I should have pulled those books out. Because I haven't done it. But anyways, they're gone. So this is covering April through now. April 1st had no books. April 8th had no books. April 15th had no books. April 22nd was Blade Runner 2019, number 8, but that got delayed. Apparently, I talked to my store. They said they didn't have it. Then the week of April 29th, no books. So it was five week month in April. Only one book was supposed to come out for me, and I didn't come out. May 6th was supposed to be Alterna's. It came out on a Wednesday. I don't got that because it got delayed, so it's not out either. So no books have come out until May 13th. 2 books came out. So I didn't do them in chronological order. I just did them in the normal comic book order. So we're going to start with DC. First book was Detective Comics 1022. It's on my pull list. Now, this is very difficult to talk about books because I don't feel like I've been into comics for almost 3 months. So I don't even remember what's going on in Detective Comics. I remember Detective Comics was enjoyable. Obviously, it's on my pull list. Brad Walker's back, so I'm happy for that. He's a good artist. Obviously, Tomasi's a good writer. I really wish he was on Superman. He does a fine Detective Comics, but he's better on Superman. Also, I'm sticking to DC. I got Justice League Odyssey number 20. I'm way behind on this book, so I can't even talk on it. I also got Justice League Odyssey 21 and Justice League Odyssey 22. Now, this is kind of annoying to me because it hasn't been a month of comics. So we're talking since May 13th. It's now June 10th. Less than a month. 3 Justice League Odyssey. Well, actually, no, wait. I read this wrong. Justice League Dark. Never mind. So 2 Justice League Odyssey books I had to buy. Then I got Justice League Dark number 22. Then we have Justice League, the proper book, by Robert Venditti. By the way, it is Ram V and James Tynion. So Ram V has taken over this book. I'm curious to see what he does. But back to Justice League, Robert Venditti. I have not read any of the Venditti stuff, so I can't comment on it. But I know Venditti's rad. And then, I'm happy to buy it. I'm so behind. And you're like, Ash, why are you so behind? Like, you've got nothing but time to read comics. I know, but depression is kind of a crazy thing. So 3 Justice League books I've bought. So there we go. 3 books in less than a month because the COVID caused the books to be delayed. So now they're rushing out. So I don't like that. Like, DC, you're putting pressure on the fans. I want to buy 1 book every month. On the same week, every month, release the book. I pay your shitty, overpriced $3.99 every month, $4 a month for your book. Not $12 for a month's worth of book. It's too much. You can't do this, especially when people are out of work, got all sorts of, funding problems. I know not everyone's in that boat. Some people haven't missed a beat. Some people are working from home. Some people are collecting unemployment and getting the extra $600 a month bonus, which is fucking bullshit. Anyways, I'm going to get started. But bravo to you if you're not hurting. Just have some empathy out there because not everyone's in your boat. Hawkman 23, every month that a Hawkman book comes out, which is always just once a month, is a blessing. This book does not sell very well. I'm sure DC will be canceling it. and I just cross my fingers and say, keep it going. There's a new artist on this book, Takara. I don't know who that is. I flipped through it. It's not as good as... I wish they would just keep the artist. I know it's tough when you got the COVID, but what are you going to do? Then my dog's going to drink right now because when I'm active, when I'm talking and stuff, she feels like she needs to be active. If I'm just sitting there chilling, she'll go lie down. That's just so... All dogs seem to be that way. Finally, we're on to Marvel. Let's pull off these. DC is too thick. That's what she said. So going into Marvel, we got Venom. Could they make that any bigger? 25! Oh my god! Yeah. Buy it! Now this book, I don't know how many pages this is, but it feels thick. Like it feels as thick as the Absolute Carnage #1, which was $8. This one was $5.99. I almost said only $5.99. This one is $5.99. Not $7.99, but it feels the same as thick. So it makes me wonder, Marvel, why is it $2 less than? Oh, because you knew you could get away with the $2 markup. But Venom is one of the best books at Marvel, so I'm looking forward to reading it. But the best book at Marvel is right here. Daredevil, number 20. Now, this was a tough one. I did a review, feels like 3 months ago, of Daredevil 19, Inferno Part 1 of 2, and you just got the cliffhanger. You had to wait all this time, so now finally I get to see what's going on. And if you remember, if you watched that video, all hell broke loose. So this is exciting. I love this book. It's really good. This feels like the Netflix show, but better. Zdarsky is just a masterful writer, and Checchetto is on the art. So I wish he could be on every issue because he's the good artist. But there you go. If you're gonna buy one book at Marvel, in my opinion, this is the one to get. But that's it. Only 2 Marvel books. So I only get 3. But apparently over about a month of comics, Marvel can only release 2 of them. So that does show you which company I think is better. And I'm a Marvel fanboy. I'm not a big DC guy. I'm only into the DC books because they're a lot better. Moving on to Independence. Boom. I did this on the Storytime Live. I read all Birthright 1 through 6, which is the first trade paperback. I cannot recommend this series enough. Go buy that trade paperback. Dane, one of my viewers, he went and got hooked and bought all the stuff after I did that. That was one of my most popular readings. Pretty much, I think unanimously, everyone loved Birthright. It's a fantastic story, great concept, takes common tropes that you're used to with fantasy and so forth, and turns them on its head and presents them in a different way. This has been a long wait too for this book, Decorum. This is a book I wasn't really sure about because I'm on the fence about Jonathan Hickman. He does some stuff that just blows my mind. That's impressive. And then he does stuff that blows my mind because of how obscenely bad it is. I don't think I've ever read a writer who can be so up and down. Every writer that I know, either you're just bad and every once in a while you do something marginally good, or you're really good and sometimes you do something that's just mediocre. Hickman's the only writer that I've read where I'm just like, that's amazing. Some of the best stuff I've ever read, 5 stars. And holy shit, that's some of the worst stuff I've ever read. I don't even want to give it 1 star. It's so weird how you can be so, not divisive, what's the word, but just inconsistent. How, I don't understand. I honestly feel like sometimes he just farts crap out. Maybe it's because of deadlines. Maybe it's because of editorial disputes. Maybe it's because he is working with editors or someone that make him change shit. I don't know. I don't know what the cause is. But so when Decorum came out, I wasn't really sure about it. There's no one to blame for this book but Hickman, because it's not a Marvel book. And I will say, so far, I haven't been disappointed in independent stuff that I read of Hickman. My disappointments have always come at the Marvel side. So maybe he's not 100% to blame. So I read the first issue of Decorum. I was a little iffy on it, but then I read it again because I had to do a review. You can go see my review for full details. I ended up really liking it. There's some weirdness to it. Hickman does some experimentation as a writer that doesn't jive with everybody. But for the most part, it really worked. And I got a lot of time out of the book, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't just blast through it in 15 minutes and forget about it. I read it slowly. There's a lot of detail to absorb. I paid attention to every panel. The way the art was done was very much suggestive that the art was trying to tell you something, that there was hidden messages in the art and symbolism and things like that. So trying to decipher that, it just felt like, I don't want to say an investment, but I felt like you really got quality time out of the book. It wasn't just a burn through a read and forget. So props to that. If you like cerebral narratives and storylines, hard sci-fi, I think Hickman is, you either love him or you hate him, I guess. Or maybe you're like me and just go, I don't understand why. Sometimes I love him and sometimes I hate him. So hopefully Decorum number 2 keeps up that trend. We'll see. Next, Undiscovered Country number 6. Now this is a book that I bought the first issue. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go digital for the rest because I can't afford to buy all these books. And I was reading it, issue 2, then 3 and 4. And I was like, no, I really like it. Each issue was getting better and better. And I was like, no, I really, really am liking this book. And so I went to the store and they still had, I think it was when issue 5 came out. They still had 2, 3, and 4 like on the recent release shelf. And I was like, I got to grab these. So I got all the physical copies. Now finally 6 is out. I'm really looking forward to where this is going. It's a very enjoyable book. It's one of those books, like I said, it just gets better and better. I've done videos on it so you can kind of see more of what's all about. This is a great indie. Next, Die, Die, Die. I've done a lot of videos about Die, not to be confused with the other comic called Die by Image. Die, Die, Die is a very tongue-in-cheek, dark comedy about government assassins, about politics. It's very, how do I say, very exaggerated. So if you're a kind of person that's like, I don't want politics in my comics, this is like movie politics. Like, this isn't real. Like, it's very much exaggerated, almost like to the point of a caricature. It's almost a satire. I don't know. There's a lot of things about this book, and one of the things, as you can see by the covers, is the shock value gore fest. They're constantly trying to gore it up. This front cover is pretty disgusting, and you're either okay with this or you're into it, one of the two. Like, or you're just like repulsed and like, this is not for me. This book came out originally unannounced. I really love the gimmick that they did. They didn't announce it. They just shipped it to the stores. And I thought that was fantastic. I loved that. I thought that was a great way to market the book. I've talked more in detail about it in my review. You can go find out about, if you go back and watch Die, Die, Die number 1. I just really enjoy this book. It's absurd. That's what it is. It's a book that takes everything to the extreme, to the point that it makes it absurd, and then the entertainment is in the absurdity. It's like, if that makes sense, every aspect of it. And then last, but certainly not least, the 15th book in my pile today is dun dun dun, Black Ops Hair Trigger. by Timothy Lim, Weldon, Pellegrini, Williams. This is a very thick book. It's a one-shot. I did not know it was coming out. It was the last one on the shelf, and I was very lucky to see it there. Now, I was lucky enough to win. I think it was this book. Hold on one sec. Yes, so I just checked. I was lucky enough to win a contest that Wes did over on his channel, Thinking Critical, that had a prize of Doug Ernst's Soul Finder and Timothy Lim's Black Hops. Now, I did a video on the Soul Finder, and you may have watched it, you may not. That was the last, actually, the Ash Wednesday that I did. And I haven't done an Ash Wednesday video since. And I kind of feel bad because in that video, Doug had sent 2 Soul Finder books, and I was like, wait a second, I thought I was supposed to get a Black Hops and a Soul Finder, but I was like, I guess 2 of these, I don't know, maybe something happened, they couldn't get the book, who knows. So, anyways, about a week or 2 later, this came in the mail. As you can see, same cover. Slightly different, doesn't say hair trigger down at the bottom, and I think this is actually like the deluxe. This is a lot thicker. I don't know if you can see on the camera here. This is a thick book that's on the back there, but this one here is almost like graphic novel size, square bound. You can see. Black Hops Volume 2. It says. I got this. You can see autographed there, Tim Lim. Tim, I don't know if you'll ever see this video, but thank you so much. I should have sent you a message. I need to rectify that. I need to send you online. He also sent me these really great USAGI. I'm just struggling, which is a clever way of doing usagi, which is Japanese for rabbit. So these cool stickers. I got the book, but true to my word, I told Tim, and I meant it. I buy everything that he does. I love his work. I love his ethic. And the original Black Hops sold me. If you haven't read the original Black Hops, if you can find them somewhere, do so. It's surprisingly this about a rabbit that is like weaponized, trained to like fight. It's weird and bizarre, but it's touching and heartfelt. It's really surprising. And it's got these great Dave Dorman covers. I can't. Everything that Tim does, that he's a part of, is great. So on some different levels. So I have to support it. Even though he sent me, I won this book free. I don't even really want to open this, but I bought a copy here, supported it. At $6.99 is the price, but this is a thick book. Like I said, it feels like it's about half as thick as the one I just showed you. It feels like it's, I don't know how many pages, if I had to guess, maybe 60. It's more than double sized. At least it feels that way. It's a very heavy book, and like I said, I want to support good work, and I feel bad because I can't support these $25 plus Kickstarter / Indiegogo comics. It's just ridiculous price for a comic. I don't fault anyone for putting a book up there. And if you can get people to buy your book, I mean, I'm a true believer in free market capitalism. People, sell your product for whatever people will pay. It's just I'm not willing to pay for it. If I was independently wealthy, maybe I would be willing to pay for it. I don't know. My ideas would change. But I'm into comics. I view them more as disposable. More like accessible, bite-sized, disposable chunks. I wouldn't pay like $50 for McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? Although that's a quality issue. I don't want to conflate quality with... Anyways, getting off the rails here. Black Hops is the last book to be featured on my channel. Tim, great job in all that you do. I'm happy to support your work. I'm happy to promote your work, even when I get it for free. So you guys should check that out. Even if you think a rabbit looks silly, I assure you, I mean, I haven't read this book particularly before, but the original Black Hops was on point. So that is all my books for today. I can't really fan them out. It's too many. It's too many. Maybe I can fan them out on the table here, and then we can kind of see what do you think is going to be the best. I don't know, but I think all of that, it's a good haul. I think that's the best, right? I mean, that was a freebie. So I guess it kind of worked out really well to have Doug be the last one that I did, and then lead back, coming back with the show, and have Timothy Lim. Special thanks to my boy Wes over at Thinking Critical, who hosted the contest and put it all together. His channel's blowing up. He is and continues to be my number one source for industry news and I was gonna say controversy, but more just industry discussion, that sort of stuff. So check out Thinking Critical if you have a chance. Let me know what you think about everything that I'm doing. Try to be not too cruel. I do have feelings. I'm just kidding. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys had a good new comic book day. This is Stan. It doesn't need any introduction. That's Forky. Yeah, he's Forky. Have a good day. I don't know how to wrap up my video, so I'm just going to end it. Take care.